Well, this is a video I wasn't going to make initially, but I'm gonna bring out something. I'm going to try to bring this out in a way that I want people to really think about the real situation that as it lays as of right now, because I'm not going to really like hammer anybody one way or the other. Donald Trump obviously is in the front lead, but I want to tell you what the Republican establishment is really trying to do. They're trying to get somebody in number 2 position behind Donald Trump, or even a strong number 3, that they could push ahead and have as the nominee for the Republican Party. They definitely, unless Donald Trump gets like 60%, 75%, say for instance, like if the ultimate solution, if you really want to really cut right to the chase, it's not going to be a perfect solution because I know there's stuff wrong with Ted Cruz. But say, for instance, Donald Trump got behind Cruz, or Cruz got behind Donald Trump, and they pulled their delegates. That could possibly do it. But the other thing is they got these super delegates, and what they say goes. And when the New York Times endorsed Hillary Clinton for Democratic, front runner to be the nominee for president, and they said Jeb Bush, which I think he's not going to make it because he's got too much baggage from his brother. And they also said John Kasich, I don't even know how to say his name, the one from Ohio. He's coming on strong right behind Trump. This guy. Now, the fact that the New York Times is endorsing this John Kasich, I don't know how to say his name, and I didn't look it up how you say it, but I really don't give a shit about this guy. I'm definitely not voting for him. Just because the New York Times endorsed him. Right there, it tells me he's full of it. He's coming across, he's saying that he's an independent. He doesn't, his master is not the Republican Party. He's a liar, okay? Pretty much all these candidates are liars. Cruz has actually been consistent, in what he's been saying. I do know he's got contributions from Goldman Sachs. I know his wife worked for Goldman Sachs, and I also know he's for the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which to me tells me he's a sellout. But he's the least screwed up of all of them. Trump, actually, if he was consistent all the way back, I'd be okay with him, but let's say he's legit. I just know that he'd be impossible unless he got like at least 60% in his polls, in his primaries. He'd be impossible. He's got to get, not just be the number 1 candidate by a clear margin, he's got to be a clear majority. Because what they could do is take some of the other candidates out there that are not doing so great, whatever, even Rand Paul, and, just John Kasich, whatever his name is, he'll say, I'm an independent, He's stealing the thunder from people, basically. He's lying. He's endorsed by the Times. He's a load of it. I can carry that right now. Hillary Clinton, she's still the front runner, obviously. Now, I put something out. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm just digging out the facts. I'm not digging out rumors. But George Soros suddenly started backing Bernie Sanders. He started putting his Move On organization behind Bernie Sanders. I said, well, that's a good indication she's toast. And the FBI is saying they're recommending she be indicted for all this, and that. But then, just now, in the last, 24, 48 hours or whatever it was, George Soros gave $6 million to Hillary Clinton's super PAC. So he's not abandoning her completely. That's obvious. He's not making a bet like that because she thinks he's totally down and out. And knowing the way the government is, you hear all these. To me, I've heard so many things like, she's going down for this and that, and I know she goes down, but, whomever. But, it's like she's like, I heard so many things over the years and it never happened. And the problem is, the people that are actually tasked with, doing their job right, they're not doing it. And like even in the FBI, there's supposedly like an internal revolt practically going on because they wanted her and her girlfriend, Uma Aberdeen, indicted for basically espionage, practically. I mean, that's really what's been going on. A lot of the things there's state secrets being sold for campaign contributions, just like Billy Boy did back in the 90s for missile technology to China. And what happened? Nothing. And anybody linked with these people, they're dead. Like Uma Aberdeen could be dead too, for all I know. I mean, look what happened with Vince Foster. That was the alleged lover of the real emotional alleged, like everybody knows she's freaking mostly lesbian, but kind of like guys too. And she was with Vince Foster, so he got whacked. He was another guy. I'll tell you something else about Vince Foster. Way back when, first off, his body was wrapped up in a carpet because they found his body in a park with carpet fibers on it, and they could never find around, even though they dug into the soil 3 feet deep. I'll give you a little story background on that. They even found Civil War artifacts. They sifted through the soil so good. No bullet. The suicide note, verified by independent handwriting analysts, they said it wasn't his writing. So there you go. And another thing is, he was involved in, he was working for Systematics Incorporated of Arkansas, which was involved in, they were the creators of the PROMIS software, Prosecutors Management Information System, which worked with a series of Cray supercomputers, whereby they can transfer money out of anybody's account at any time. Like if you get money for being paid off or something, or you need to be paid off, they can transfer it like nothing secure in the actual, even in the Swiss bank accounts. According to, some of the stories that have been told about how this Prosecutors Management Information software works with the Cray supercomputers, they can hack into any bank account. He was working with that. I don't know exactly what he was doing, but there was a lot of crazy clandestine things going on behind the scenes. And I guess he was a liability when he was Attorney General, and they whacked him. So, I mean, maybe Uma Aberdeen might get killed. Who knows, man? But, that's how the cracks happen sometimes, because, if Uma Aberdeen ever thought she was going to get thrown under the bus by Hillary, she might be a freaking good thing to have on, the side of, the truth, right? Bernie Sanders, as far as Bernie Sanders goes, I know he's like a socialist, communist guy, whatever the hell it is. He thinks government grants the people rights and stuff. Actually, this guy is not that bad in his heart in some ways. I mean, I'm definitely not voting for him, but he's like way better than Hillary Clinton as far as like morals and stuff. He's been highly critical of the IMF, and for real. He's been tearing them up. Like Hillary Clinton would never criticize the IMF. He really would go after Wall Street. So he's kind of coming on strong now because of, and actually Soros's MoveOn organization is trying to help him out. But he really would go after Wall Street. And I'm thinking, what's coming up here in the future is that, Wall Street's going to need another serious bailout with the too bigs to fail again. And he won't go for it. He's not going to win for that reason. They don't want this guy, period. They want Hillary. So the backup plan is, if Hillary gets really slammed indicted, Bloomberg will come on the scenes. And then Bloomberg will try to get Bernie to support him. And then, that's the guy actually Wall Street wanted all along over Hillary, Michael Bloomberg. That's a fact. I'm not even telling you something I think. It's really a fact. And it's quite obvious why. Michael Bloomberg is Wall Street. They want him actually over Hillary. But, he doesn't want to bother with the crap, and he figures, Hillary, but once she got in trouble, he's talking about running. Because this guy, Bernie Sanders, even though he's a socialist, communist guy, whatever it is, he's definitely not on the camp with Wall Street or the IMF. He's been extremely critical of the IMF, telling it it's a total failure. Not voting for him either. Okay. Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush might have had a chance if his brother never got to be president. If his father was president. His father was president. His father was president, back in 88. But, it's like in 88 to 92. So he definitely would have been a front runner if his brother didn't run. Because nobody would have known that much about him. I mean, I did know all this stuff about Herbert Walker Bush before. And I knew about the CIA connections, the Kennedy assassination. He was there at Daley Plaza. I knew all this stuff. But I think to myself, this at least this guy takes care of business when it needs to be taken care of as far as defending the United States with Desert Storm. And, you're going to take a draft dodger, Bill Clinton, that ran to Canada, over the guy that was, shot down over the Pacific in World War II and took care of business with Desert Storm and whacked Saddam Hussein really fast. I take Herbert Walker Bush. Perot was a guy to split the vote, which, I'm kind of suspecting Trump a little bit. But, well, I am suspecting him a lot. You're not suspecting him. Some people are. But I'll tell you something what to watch for. I'll tell you what to watch for. But, yeah, here's something to watch for. George Soros. This guy's been playing games. He owns the Democratic Party. And, this guy ought to just be, he ought to be hunted down and killed. I mean, really. This guy's an enemy of America. He's not an American citizen. He's freaking playing games with our freaking political system by owning the whole Democratic Party. He's like, George Soros is to the Democratic Party like the Koch brothers is to the Republicans. With the neocons and shit, right? This guy, I mean, this guy ought to just be whacked. I mean, forget about it. I mean, they did, what the hell they do with the rancher, Lavoie, right? Hey, put your hands up. I got him up. Oh, I'll shoot you in the side. Oh, your arm went down. Oh, well, now we can shoot you in the head and shoot you 3 times on the ground. Well, do that with Soros, okay? I mean, just get rid of the shithead, you know what I mean? Where the hell is law enforcement when you need them, It's only with the, some little guy that's a rancher out there. I'm trying to protect my frogs on my ranch. There's whatever I'm doing. My critters need food. You're taking my food from my critters. And, they hammer those people. But, the big guys, like the big ugly freaking, what is this thing? He looks like a troll. He looks like one of those things that came out of the earth, like an earthworm. He's one of them earthworm guys. He's raising his hand saying, I swear to lie every freaking word out of my mouth. So anyway, where the hell is law enforcement when this shit's around? Because this guy owns the whole Democratic Party. So he gives, he's backing, I guess he's betting on 2 horses, Bernie Sanders, but he's not really totally betting on Bernie Sanders. He's really on Hillary Clinton. He just figures, she's got a lot of liability. But I'm a little confused about this now because why the hell did he put $6 million on a super PAC for Hillary Clinton? It's almost telling me that the FBI is not going to be able to indict her or recommend to indict her, or nothing's going to happen, or all this shit's going to blow over. I don't know. He doesn't even know. Soros doesn't even know. Nobody knows exactly. But I'm trying to alert you people for what the games are going on behind the scenes. And actually, this is what bugs me the most. Not Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, I mean, I know there's shit wrong with this guy, but he's basically, to me, the best viable option going. And that's my personal opinion. Now, Trump, I would love if he was, consistent all the way back, but he hasn't been. If you want to give an example of inconsistencies, Hillary Clinton, for many, 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 many years, says she was against, back when she was a senator from New York, and for many years, up until, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, she was against gay and lesbian marriage. And that is really wild coming from her, considering that, according to Jennifer Flowers, she told, because, the story is with Jennifer Flowers, the Bill Clinton girlfriend, Jennifer Flowers tells Bill Clinton, this is way back, I mean, it was probably, in the early 90s or something, I forgot exactly what it was. She tells Bill Clinton, I heard your wife was having an extramarital affair with a woman. Is it, I don't know if I should tell you that. And he laughs. He knew all about it. He goes, yeah, she probably went down on more women than I have. She loves women better than me. And, she's Hillary, to say she was against lesbian and gay marriage for all those years was totally against what she really believed. So she could say anything one way or the other. Now, she could say, well, let me be your champion and I'm going to fight Wall Street. And she's being paid by Wall Street. The only guy I can really say that has been consistent for a number of years, you really can't say Trump has been consistent for a number of years. He's been consistent in the last 2 years. Hillary has been all over Romney was all over the place. Hillary's been all over the place. Jeb Bush is all over the place. This Kasich guy is full of shit, saying he's an independent when he's endorsed by the Times. Cruz, they might be able to stomach because he's in with Wall Street. He for the TPP. He accepts bribes, campaign contributions from um, Goldman Sachs. But I don't want to say too much bad about him because I think he's the best guy going of the field, in my opinion. But I know, like, I'm just telling you, I really know what some of the stuff that could be wrong with him, that some people would tell me why he's bad. So I'm saying it right now. But the thing is, I think that he would be another Richard M. Nixon. They would find, like, I don't like Richard M. Nixon, 55 mile an hour speed limit. I can't drive 55. I don't give a damn about the freaking Watergate. I can't drive 55. The gold standard he got us off of, and, trade with China and all this shit. Wage and price controls. I didn't care about Watergate. I can't drive 55. That was the worst thing Nixon ever did. He should have been impeached for that, actually. But I think he'd be a Richard M. Nixon in this way. They'd find some stupid little thing to nail him with. Something that Hillary Clinton does on a minute-by-minute basis, and she gets totally away with scot-free. They nail this guy. Because he's not exact. He's more in with the crowd. I mean, with the people, the crowd. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to tell you a little more about this Tea Party stuff when I'm on the subject of Ted Cruz. I never liked that idea with that, the concept or whatever you call it. I know the Tea Party original Tea Party was, they didn't like the tea tax, so they dressed up like Indians and they went on the ships and they threw the tea overboard, right? Actually, if you were going to have a real Tea Party today, you wouldn't call it a Tea Party. See, a lot of people are into, and I don't want to say too much on here because it'll be going. I don't want to tell you too much. All right, I'm not going to tell you too much, but I'm going to give you an analogy. If there was a Tea Party today, if you wanted to play that game, it would be something along these lines. Not giving you a suggestion, but I'm telling you, because when people say, "Oh, it's Tea Party, we're taking on," you're losing it because your traditions are stale. You got to go on to new things. Would it be analogous to a Tea Party today, what it was back in 1775, would be, say, for instance, if you dressed up like radical Muslims and you did something, action against your enemies that are freaking, ripping you off financially or something, like the English were with the tea tax. That would be the thing. And you would actually do something. So I'm going to tell you a couple other things on here because I'm going to have to. Because I want to tell you some other things, too, in general. Even with law enforcement, there's like rebellions and there's a lot of different things going on where people are kind of disgusted with the situation. People say, I don't know. This guy, I don't really care. I don't mind Trump, but I wish people would realize he could be totally lying to you. Now I'm going to get right to another major point. Is this: if he's not, well, let me put it this way. I already know they're trying to push this John Kasich guy, whatever Kasich guy, in a strong number 2, number 3. New York Times endorsed him. The Republican establishment will go for this John Kasich guy or Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush has got too much of a liability on him because his brother, I mean, really. I mean, forget it, man. They're fed up. They want a new name. They want a new face. This Kasich guy's coming around. I think that's how you say it, Kasich. He's saying, I'm independent. I'm not. The Republicans are my master, but the masters want him. So he's full of shit, all right? New York Times wants him. They're going to make this guy the nominee. Not Trump. Unless Trump and Cruz maybe get together and one's going to have to get behind the other or some crap. And they still have the problem with dealing with the super delegates when they actually do the nominate, the super delegates from the Republican Party. Now, if Trump, he's already saying this, though, and this is where you're going to get mad at me, but I'm going to tell you, this is what to watch for. If he says that, because he's already been saying, it all depends on how they treat me and all this kind of garbage. If he runs independent and Hillary's on a ticket and whatever, Bloomberg is on a ticket or whatever, Bernie Sanders is VP, he's actually throwing the whole election to the Democrats if he's independent. If he runs independent, he definitely knows what he's doing. And I know there's going to be argument, oh, yeah, it can happen. It could possibly happen in, like, congressional race, maybe a race for governor. It doesn't happen. An independent don't win. We're screwed with two parties. As far as the presidential goes, it's like we're screwed with two parties. You know? That's why I'm thinking the best compromise for me is the Cruz, but I don't know. But, you know, I'm going to tell you something else. You know, a lot of this shit that's going on, like Hillary, for instance, she's committed so many crimes against America. It's ridiculous. Her and Bill, and a lot of people have. Kerry, Secretary of State Kerry. Obama, yeah, I know Richard Nixon, right? Yeah, Richard Nixon did stuff. And George Bush, the Bushes. But, you know, we don't have a dictatorship in the United States, theoretically. And we got all these law enforcement agencies that are supposed to be overwatching these laws. The problem is the people on the top are corrupt, and even in these agencies. But this is what I really, to give you an example, there's been times where in battles, and, if you look back in history, where people have gotten so disgusted by even people that were on their side, but they caved in. They got so disgusted by them that they turned on their own people because it was a matter of principle. And, that's really what it's going to have to be with the Watchers. The Watchers being the law enforcement. They're going to have to turn rapidly on their own people. That's one of the codes, like, you don't freaking break the code of the tribe, the blue or the green tribe, you don't rat out each other and all. You're going to have to do that because it's a matter of principle. It's not just because you got a constitution. It's because the ones that are in law enforcement are sucking up to this bitch in Aberdeen. And you know what it's going to come around to anyway. None of these people in law enforcement are going to retire in this country anyway because there ain't going to be nothing left for them to have. They're going to be working for a foreign power, if they even are working, even if they're breathing. So, you want it that, you really want to put it to you that way, I'll tell you this, that's the way it's going to be. Not that I'm making it that way, she's making it that way. She's screwing things up so much that anybody in law enforcement that's, like, looking the other way because, my superior said this, and, well, you know what? You're going to have to stab your superior in the back, so to speak, and get the shit done right. See, that's why I'm no longer in the military, because I would not fucking go along with a lot of bullshit, and I played the game very, very carefully, but they don't like people that think independently. I know that. And, who the hell was that jackass? Fucking name is, I can't remember. The guy out there with the, Pete Santilli. I'm no Pete Santilli, man. I'll tell you that right now, man. Shit. God, what a prick that jerk is. I'm independent, but, I'm not going to be playing no game like that jerk. There's no PayPal button over here. But I'm telling you, really, for real, man, I shouldn't even say that because I'd rather, like, not say shit and, be stealth and in the shadows and then, stick it to them when they need to. But, as far as Hillary, she's actually going to cause everybody that looked the other way not to have anything. And she'll just croak of some old disease or some shit. She's going to die of some brain tumor or some shit, and that'll be the end of it. In the meantime, everybody that's sucked up to her, they're going to get the shaft, too, eventually, too, because of the groundwork she laid. So, I got to say something here that, we got a bad situation, but we got to take the lesser of the bad alternatives. Even they will not put Bernie up there as a front runner. I know it. Even I'm not gonna like the guy, but for a lot of reasons, because he's socialist and communist. But he is 100 times better than Hillary. I can tell you that right now. But he's not good, But he's got some things about him are good. This guy, he's as bad as Romney, but he's got baggage from his brother. George Bush the brother. The elite might want him, but it ain't going to happen. The public don't want him because he's got that last name. And Everybody knows what he's about. So they're pushing this John Kasich guy, and he's probably going to be it. But if that happens, you got Hillary or Bloomberg on one side, and you got this John Kasich guy on the other side. If you see Trump run as an independent, the whole fix has been in from day one. All right? And I'll probably vote for Trump anyway. I would. Because I'm definitely not going to vote for Bush, Kasich, freaking Hillary, Bloomberg. I'm not going to vote for any of those people, period. No way in hell. I'm going to vote. But, I'd rather vote for Cruz, even though I know he's not perfect, but whatever. Ted Milhouse Cruz for president. I think he's gonna get. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna get impeached. If you ever got to be president, don't impeach him for something. Watch, the major media will come out and say something stupid, and I don't know what the hell. It's gonna be something stupid. I already see it. But the thing is, people got to have some more background. We don't have a dictatorship. People are actually trying to freaking push. They're getting behind Trump because they're thinking like he's going to be able to fix everything. Hey, you know what? They're the president. They're not supposed to freaking. They don't make the laws. They're supposed to. They're the executive branch of the government. They're the commander in chief of the military. They don't make the laws. They don't decide on the constitutionality of the laws. They don't appropriate any funds. They execute the laws. So, sometimes, when people are thinking Trump's going to fix everything, you're getting away from the American principles right there. So I'll kind of leave you with that note, and hopefully I gave you a little more insight on some stuff of what's going on, and what to watch for. I'm not 110% sure, but I have a pretty good inkling what's going to happen. I've been saying it all along, but I won't repeat it again because enough people got mad at me because I was saying, I think Trump's going to play this game. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, but I'll give you some hope here. If you look at Italy, I'll bring this up at the end. If you look at Italy, they got whoever's in charge, and they got behind the scenes, they got the real people that are in charge. And that's probably the way this shit's going to work over here in the United States. I don't want to comment any more on that, but, for the most part, the people that are in government, they don't know nothing about what's going on, all that kind of stuff. They think they do. I remember when Tony Provenzano had his daughter, Josephine, became head of the Teamsters. The FBI was following around. She had nothing to do with the freaking Teamsters. I went to school with her back when I was in grammar school, so that was cool. I went up to, actually used to go up to go visit his house when I was a little kid. I didn't know what the hell was going on, with Jimmy Hoffa and all that shit. But, yeah, I can guarantee you Trump's involved in all that shit, too. So, it's, everybody talks nice on the outside, right? They all talk sweet. If you got billions of dollars, man, you're definitely a bullshit artist. I can tell you that right now, so... But, I'm not hating on Trump, okay? But I'm telling you, he's a bullshit artist, all right? And you can't take everything he says at pure faith value, no matter how sincere he says it. And, that goes for all of them. This guy, Mr. Independent, John Kasich. Hillary, I'm against gay and lesbian marriage. For like 10 years she said this while she's has her face buried in Uma Aberdeen. Yeah, come on, man. Bernie Sanders, I don't know, maybe he's more honest, I guess, but he's still a commie. And you got Jeb Bush, he's honest, right? Okay. And Soros, I swear to lie every time I move my lips. And, I don't know. George, you need to get a ranch and get in a fight with the BLM. That's what you need to do. I'll leave you with that thought.